Of all the things I've bought, what's the thing that I regret buying the most? What would I not have bought had I known what I know now? What's happening, guys? Dan Debenham here. So we're not that far away from Christmas, and I think because we're not that far away from Christmas, I kind of started to think about the things that, well, obviously my wife had said to me, "What do you want?" And I'd sort of looked for the cheapest thing I could think of, because in filmmaking everything's so damned expensive, and I was just like, just get me something really cheap. Because I'm terrible and I buy things all the way through the year. But that's a story for another vlog. But it got me thinking, what is the thing, of all the things I've bought, what's the thing that I regret buying the most? What would I not have bought had I known what I know now? And what would I have bought instead? So way back when I first started, so let's start right back at the beginning. Way back when I first started filmmaking, one of the jobs I did, the job that actually got me into properly doing it, was I used to film children that were coming up for adoption for a few local authorities. Essentially, what they used to do is give prospective adoptees, i.e. the people who were doing the adopting, the families, they were given this massive pack of stuff, medical reports and all the rest of it about the child, blah, 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 blah. Go blind reading it, not really understand any of it, have loads and loads of questions. And me and another person came up with the idea of doing a short film, 5 minutes or so, where you got to see the child, you got to see the carer talk about the child who actually fostered the child, so the foster carer talked about it, and the social worker talked about the medical side of it and all that kind of stuff and what was perhaps needed and what have you. And that was brilliant and all great and everything. And I started off with this camera, which was a JVC camera. I'll stick a picture up of it. It was massive, heavy, fully metal bodied, great lens on the front of it. It was only 720p, but the lens, as with all things, including the camera that we're on now, expensive lenses make the image. And so it looked great, you know. And at the time they were using it on Discovery and all the rest of it to do wildlife documentaries and what have you. And I thought that's the thing. That's the very camera for me. That's mistake number one. And it had tapes inside, which took 90 minutes, and you had to transpose you transcode the image into digital, which took the same amount of time as you recorded it. So it was 180 minutes to film something and then get it onto digital. Batteries lasted 20 minutes. So to do 90 minutes filming, you needed 4 batteries. It was mental, and it was really, really heavy. And I sort of plumbed for this tripod, an E-image. I think it was a 702 or something. And this is actually the tripod itself. This is the thing. I mean, this is the size of it. It's a huge ENG tripod. I can't even get it in shot. It's so big and it's so damned heavy. So I'll put it there. Don't fall over. Don't you fall over on my camera. So just to be clear, there isn't really anything actually physically wrong with this tripod, other than the fact that it is absolutely huge. It's just massive. It's so big that I couldn't even put it up in the house. I couldn't get a good angle to be able to show you exactly what this looks like. You know, it's got a proprietary head plate on it, so you can't use it with a Manfrotto tripod. It's got proper sort of turning locking mechanism for the legs, so the legs extend out in 3 places. It's got proper rubber feet on the bottom of it with spikes built into that, and is massive in terms of how it sets out, along with this big fluid head on the top, and it's really, really rock solid. It's just too big. It was £700, And that could have just gone on so many more things had I done a bit more research. It could have been a new microphone or a lens and a microphone, a nifty 50 and something else, you know. It could have been anything. It could have been a good chunk of a new camera. £700 is a good chunk of a new, up-to-date, sort of films in full HD, full frame camera. They were like £1,000 and I spent £700 on just the tripod. Because I'd done no research, and in my head I was thinking, I'm going to be, you know, starting out filming, I'm going to be doing all this amazing stuff, and I need this like sort of like big tripod that makes me look cool when I turn up to a job. But really what it did is it made me look sweaty because I was just absolutely panting and out of breath when I got there, having had to carry this across the city or from the car park, or trying to get this shoehorn into someone's space in order to be able to interview them. And so I think that's the takeaway to this, is that from my worst purchase, do some research, do some looking into what you actually need, and think about what you're actually going to use rather than what you would like to use or you would like it to look like. Because what you actually need is the thing that's going to do the job as efficiently and as quickly for you as possible. And this certainly didn't do that. Whilst I could probably stand the car on this because it's so damned good in terms of supporting stuff, and I quickly transitioned to like a three-legged thing tripod, which is what this is sat on at the moment, which is a foot in size and holds pretty much the same amount of weight that this does. And so it sort of limits what you can do all the way down the line. It's almost put barriers in every single step of the way, effectively. And so yeah, so the takeaway from this is do some research and really be honest about what it is that you're going to be filming and what equipment you're really actually going to need, not what equipment looks cool or what you think you'd like it to look like or what you think filmmakers should have. So with that, I hope you did enjoy looking at my worst purchase and me wasting money, ridiculous amounts of money as it were, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.